See you, Grandma. Bye-bye, he said, waving his hand with a smile as he cheerfully walked out the door, leaving my Mill frozen, her mouth agape. This is goodbye then, Mill. I guess this will be the last time I call you Mill, but please take care of yourself. I bid my final farewell to my Mill. However, my Mill, unaware of the true meaning behind my words, contacted me again. My name is Sophia. I'm a 37-year-old housewife working at a design office. Smile, smile. My smile is my family's happiness. As I cast this magic spell on myself, I try to smile in front of the mirror. This is my morning routine. It was my grandma who taught me this. Sophia, you're neither an unhappy child or a pitiable one. So, you mustn't cry. Look, try smiling. These were the words of encouragement from my grandma, who comforted me warmly yet sternly when I came home crying from school because I was teased for not having parents. They have been my support throughout my life. My grandma, who was always cheerful and bright like the sun to me, passed away 2 years ago, following my grandpa to heaven. I still haven't healed from the grief of losing my grandparents. Yet, I have a kind husband and lovely children. My husband, Oliver, is 2 years older than me and works as an architect at a construction company. My daughter, Emily, is 10 years old. She's entering her adolescence and rebellious phase, but she's a reliable girl who takes good care of her much younger brother. My son, Liam, just turned 3. He always follows his sister around, clinging to her like a baby, but he is a sweet boy, building an ordinary family like any other. That was my dream since I was a child, and now that I have realized this dream, I believe we could continue to live a happy life as a family of 4. I had believed that. However, our happy time did not last long. My Phil, who had been suffering from stomach cancer, passed away. The loss of a warm presence that had been watching over our family, even after a 3-year battle with the disease, was profound. But I couldn't remain sad forever. This was because my Mill, who was left alone in the family home, brought up the idea of living together. It happened when Oliver and I, who were dating at the time, went to his parents' house to announce our engagement. As soon as I sat on the living room sofa, my Mill started firing questions at me like an interviewer at a job interview. Sophia, do you also hold the same architect license as my son? Yes. Well, that's impressive for a woman. Well, it's nothing really. By the way, what do your parents do? What's your father's occupation? My parents divorced when I was 2, and after that, I was adopted by my paternal grandparents, I answered, and at that moment, my Mill's expression hardened. Then, where are your parents now? I haven't seen my mother for a long time, so I don't know where she is. My father has remarried and now lives with a different family. You haven't seen your mom for a long time, so does that mean the divorce was her fault? Like, she had an affair or something? Otherwise, she wouldn't have abandoned her child, right? I was at a loss for words, because everything my Mill said was true. Hey. It's rude to pry into someone else's family matters like that. Sophia deserves better. That's right, Mom. Besides, the grandparents who raised Sophia were very respectable people. Whether my Phil and his admonishing voice were not heard or she was pretending not to hear. But blood is thicker than water. I wonder if the daughter will end up like her mother. My Mill continued to speak in a voice too loud to be considered, muttering to herself. Enough already, Sophia, I'm sorry. My wife means no harm, but she can be quite blunt. No, it's okay. Such was the exchange. Afterward, persuaded by my Phil and Oliver, my Mill reluctantly approved of our marriage. However, my Mill, who refused to accept me as her daughter-in-law, said, I have no intention of living with someone who's an outsider, rejecting our proposal to live together. When we discussed building our own home, all she said was, do whatever you want. That was all. Yet, when my husband's younger brother, Parker, decided to get married, she acknowledged his fiancée, Isla, as a suitable daughter-in-law because Ila's family has a good background, and both her parents are present. Truly, she's the kind of woman fit to be our daughter-in-law. Yet, as soon as my Phil passed away, Sophia, you're the wife of the eldest son, so it's only natural for you to take care of your Mill. Suddenly she decided to treat me as a daughter-in-law. Mom, isn't that being too selfish? The one who spoke up for me was my husband, who is usually gentle and hardly raises his voice. That was then, but this is now. We never thought Dad would pass away so soon, my Mill replied nonchalantly. It's not like I'm saying forever. Just for a few years until Parker and his wife return home from overseas. You don't have any complaints about that, right, Sophia? Caught off guard by the sudden question, I couldn't say I had any complaints. Eventually, under the condition that it would only be until my Bill and his wife returned from their overseas assignment, we started living with my Mill in a house that was a 10-minute drive from our own. Sophia, you know. Yes, what is it? This soup is a bit bland, my Mill said, sprinkling salt as if it was a normal thing to do. Mom, you're adding salt again. It's not bland at all. That's not true. All of Sophia's cooking lacks flavor and doesn't feel satisfying to eat. Mom, you've been told by the doctor to cut back on salt because of your high blood pressure. No matter what my husband said, my Mill, who wouldn't listen, said for me, it's a blessing if I can eat what I want even if it means I end up going to hell, with a smug look. Sophia, you know. Here it comes again. This phrase always marks the beginning of my Mill's nagging. In times like these, in one ear and out the other is the best strategy. The problem is, my 3-year-old son, Liam, has started imitating her, saying, Sophia, you know. It's nerve-wracking, especially at an age when he likes to mimic everything. On a separate now, what's troubling me is the triangular relationship that has formed between my Mill, my daughter, and my son. Really, such an unlovable child. My Mill would say this aloud. My daughter, Emily, would pretend not to hear my Mill's voice and would try to leave the house as soon as she got back from school. Perhaps understanding the true nature of my Mill, who has always spoken ill of me, my daughter refuses to open her heart to her. Big sis, I'm coming too. When my son, Liam, tries to follow his sister, Emily, my Mill would call out, Liam, wouldn't you like to stay and eat some candy with Grandma? I've bought lots of your favorite candies. Unable to resist the lure of candy, my son would respond with a smile, really? Then I'll eat the candy. Liam, it's almost dinner time, so just a little bit of candy, okay? Yay, big sis. Liam is smart, he knows that even without being told, right? Yay. My husband is the only one I can vent to. Despite how busy he is, he always listens to my troubles. Thanks to my kind husband, I could stand in front of the mirror with a smile the next morning, forgetting all my worries. However, about a year after we started living with my Mill, that day suddenly came. I received a call from his company saying he had collapsed at work, and by the time I rushed to the hospital, it was too late. Bringing my husband home, my daughter silently cried, and my son, shaking his father's body, asked, Dad, wake up. Why are you sleeping? The grief of losing my husband and the anxiety of raising the kids alone overwhelmed me. Yet, I had to protect them, I had to be strong. I vowed never to cry in front of the children. My Mill then said something heartless. To lose your husband and not shed a single tear, you really are a cold-hearted wife. I'd like to see what kind of parents raised you. Those were not words to be said in front of the children, no matter how much she disliked me. A year ago, when my Phil passed away, she said, the son will take care of the funeral, so I don't have to do anything, it's so easy, and she was the only one lying on the sofa, laughing at a comedy TV show. Eventually, she even cried, saying, I laughed so much I'm crying. My Mill, who had said, we can just have a small service at home, for my FIL's funeral service, left everything else to others. Yet, the arrangements for my husband and son were so different. We'll have the son's memorial service at a ceremony hall, she said, taking care of the reservation. On the day of the funeral, thanks to the professional staff at the venue, we managed to conduct the service smoothly, and it was just the post-service family gathering left. Well then, Sophia, the kids and I will take ours home to eat, so I'll leave the rest to you, said my Mill, already holding a bag with boxed lunches. And also, the kids are waiting in the taxi, she said and went home first. When I returned to my Mill's house 2 hours later, I noticed a stack of cardboard boxes that looked familiar. These were boxes I had bought a few days earlier at my Mill's request. Moreover, they were placed in the corner of the garage, where my Mill usually puts the trash. Opening the boxes, I found familiar clothes and shoes, all my belongings. We don't need that trash, so if you need it, take it all with you, she said. What? Turning around at her voice, I saw my Mill standing imposingly, looking down at me. Then my Mill said to me, now that my son is gone, you're just a stranger. So please leave. Pointing outside the gate. I got it. As soon as I replied, my Mill showed a surprised face but then smiled. It's good that you're so understanding. And where are the kids now? The kids are at a relative's house right now, so I'll arrange for them to be dropped off at your house later. So please hurry up and load your car and leave. Kicked out by my Mill, I loaded the car. But it's good for you. Even if you're kicked out of this house, you have a home left behind by my son. Pretending not to hear my Mill's words, I said, well then, Mill, I'm leaving now. Thank you for everything, and left my Mill's house. Back at our house, I immediately started cleaning the entire place. Before I knew it, it was dark outside. Looking at the clock, it was past 8 p.m. Hello. It's Sophia. Oh, Sophia, what is it? My Mill clearly sounded like she had just woken up. The kids haven't come home yet. The kids are already asleep. Asleep. Yes, Liam insisted on staying over with his grandma, so it couldn't be helped. Couldn't be helped. Yun. Anyway, I'm tired from today, and we're going to Disneyland tomorrow morning for an overnight stay, so I'll contact you later. Bye. Hello. Hello. My Mill abruptly hung up the phone. I knew it. I was convinced that my Mill had never intended to send the kids back. And having heard something from my daughter, I had been pretending to be deceived on purpose. It was a few days after my husband passed away. Hey, Liam, how about you live with Grandma from now on? Yay. With Mom and Emily too. No, I mean just you and Grandma living together. Then, I'll buy you lots and lots of candy, and I'll grant any wish you have. Really? You'll buy me lots and lots. Yes, lots and lots. Will you take me to Disneyland where Mickey Mouse is? Of course. I'll take you there tens or hundreds of times. Yay. Then I'll stay with Grandma. But this is a secret between you and Grandma, okay? Don't tell Mom or Emily. It's our little secret, got it? Okay. A secret. My son had shared this conversation with my daughter, saying, Emily, this is a secret, who then told me. If my son really wanted to continue living just with my Mill, I didn't know what to do. I was honestly anxious about that. Still, Mom, leave Liam to me. I have a special magic trick up my sleeve, Haga. Trusting my daughter's words, I decided to wait and see. It was 5 days later when I received a call from my Mill to come pick up the kids. When I arrived at my Mill's house, my daughter was waiting for me at the entrance, with our luggage already packed beside her. After we loaded the luggage into the car and entered the house, my son came running from the back of the house, holding a Mickey Mouse bag. Here, this is for you. A souvenir. A souvenir. Oh, what a lovely pendant. Thank you, Liam. Seeing my son's cheerful face brought me a moment of relief. Doh. Sophia, you're early. Are you done with the luggage? Said my Mill, dampening the mood. Yes, we're done. Then, Liam, say goodbye to your Mom and Emily. What? I was taken aback, expecting at least to come in for some tea. In front of my astonished eyes, my son quickly put on his shoes, turned around, and said, Bye then, Grandma. Bye. Liam, let's hurry to the car. Okay. My son, waving his hand with a smile and cheerfully walking out with my daughter, left my Mill frozen, her mouth agape. Struggling to hold back my laughter, I managed to say, well then, I'll be leaving. As I was about to leave, wait, Sophia, my Mill called out to me. Yes, what is it? That thing, you know. That thing. Pretending to think it over, I then said, are you talking about the plan to have Liam adopted by your childless second son and his wife? That plan? How did you know about that? Could it be? Yes, that could be. I received a call from your son, Parker, who's overseas. No way. When? Why? The day after the funeral service. I thought it was a call to apologize for not being able to attend the service, but I was surprised to hear what he said. Why would you be surprised? I felt sorry for my childless son. What's so wrong with that? Faced with my Mill's defiant attitude, I was beyond angry. I was astonished. But when I flashed a mischievous smile, what? My Mill's face contorted. Too bad for you. trying to bribe and wrap Liam around your finger, but he escaped first. What? My Mill's eyes widened in shock, darting around before she looked down. Let me make it clear, I will never let go of my children, no matter what. Eek. And so, my dear Mill. I guess this is the last time I'll call you Mill, but please take care of yourself. After telling my Mill that, I hurried to the car where my children were waiting. In the car on our way home, listening to Liam's stories about Disneyland, he suddenly said in a serious tone, Mom, what is it? I'm going to be a hero. What? Surprised by his words, I almost turned around to look at him despite I was driving. A grandma in blue clothes with a pink ribbon cast a spell on me, right sis? Yay. With a magic wand, she said, Bibidi-bibidi-boo. Become a cool hero, and cast a spell on you. Yay. I'm going to be a hero, and protect Mom. The fairy godmother who cast the spell on Liam was the magical fairy, who turned a pumpkin into a carriage. My daughter had used those magical words and told them to Liam. If Liam is going to protect me, I'm not afraid of anything. Thank you. Despite vowing not to cry in front of my children, I struggled to hold back my tears, and my daughter in the passenger seat gently handed me a tissue. I will protect my children. I reaffirmed my vow. Then, a few months later, I received a phone call while living peacefully with my family of 3. Hello, Sophia. The voice on the phone was tearful, sniffling sounds coming through. It's been a while. What's wrong? The caller was the mother of my deceased husband. In other words, my former Mill who had become a stranger. Please don't sound so cold. Even though my son is gone, you're still my daughter-in-law. Me, your daughter-in-law. I thought we had become strangers. That was just a slip of the tongue. So, what do you want? No, right, actually, Sophia, I tripped on the doorstep and sprained my ankle. I'm sorry to hear that. Yay, so I can't drive a car and go shopping. The car. You mean the pink bicycle. Why don't you ask Isla, the wife of your younger son, then? But she's overseas, I can't just ask her. Well, that makes sense. So, how much will you pay me? Pay? For what? How much will you hire me as a housekeeper? Why should I pay you, my daughter-in-law? Not sure where the misunderstanding is, but I'm not so generous as to help a stranger's household for free. But that was just a figure of speech. That's not what I'm saying. So, what exactly? We are legally strangers with no relation or connection anymore, since I've already filed the termination of marital relationship notice. That's what it means. Legal. Hey, just a minute, Sophia. How dare you do such a thing on your own? Doing things on my own. It seems you're not aware. I don't need your permission or need to report to you when filing such notice. What? I don't understand why you're upset. I'd rather you thank me. You. Well, I have a client waiting, so I'll leave it at that. After ending the call, I immediately blocked the number. Sophia, you did it. The client was Isla, the wife of my late husband's brother. She's currently back in the country alone. Did I go too far? Not at all. It's quite refreshing. She's probably calling my husband right now, sinking down in defeat. Yay. It's just a bit regrettable we can't see that expression up close. Indeed. The one who suggested I file the termination of marital relationship notice was actually my Bill, my ex-Mill's younger son. I wonder how my ex-mother-in-law will feel when confronted with this fact by her own son. The reason Isla is here now is to discuss plans for the house they want to build upon their return. After being kicked out of my in-law's house, I resigned from the design office where I worked and was planning to start my own architectural firm. When I shared these plans with my brother-in-law and his wife, they asked me to design their house. It feels strange to become close after my husband passed away. Our relationship with my Bill and his wife was limited to a few greetings a year at my in-law's house. We barely had any proper conversations. Our relationship grew closer after my husband's death, especially after the attempted adoption debacle. I learned then that Isla had been diagnosed with a condition that made it impossible for them to have children. Still, they decided to accept their reality and look forward to a life together, just the two of them. There are ties that break and ties that bind. I believe this is also a connection my late husband made for us. Mom, I'm home. Though. Auntie Isla. Emily, Liam, long time no see. Have you been well? Yay. By the way, Sophia, I've been curious about that pendant. It's cute. It is, isn't it? That one, I gave it to her as a souvenir from Disneyland. It's a magical pendant, but I was the one who chose it. Wow. A magical pendant. Auntie is so jealous. Then, let's all go to Disneyland next time. Thank you. Let's go all together. Watching the children and Isla chatting happily, my heart warmed at the sight with the glass shoe pendant sparkling brightly on my chest.